Alright guys, welcome back to another Opera Omnia video where we are back for another Who Should You BT Plus. And in this video, we're going to be covering both Machina and Shantotto. Now, with these two characters, they are both getting small reworks. Shantotto's getting her BT Plus and Machina's finally getting his BT weapon. But which one of the two is actually worth greening? Now, in this video, we're going to be talking about the pros and cons just like we normally do. And by we, I mean my good friend Kaiden and I will be talking about both of these two things. I will be covering the rework aspect and what changes they are going to be getting for these two characters. And towards the end of the video, we'll be talking about who we are considering BT Plusing once these two banners drop. So, as always, if you guys do enjoy the video, consider liking the video and subscribing for future Opera Omnia content. Let us know down in the comment section below who you are considering BT Plusing with these two upcoming banners. And of course, don't forget to check out Kaiden's channel as he is very close to 300 subs. And hopefully we can get to that goal before the end of this year. So let's go ahead and jump into it, guys. Let's first talk about Shantotto, Machina, and then the portion where we guys let you know who we are thinking about BT Plusing. So we'll first start off with Shantotto's rework. So with her LD ability got an additional use, which is great. And at the start of the wave, inflicts the Accursed Glaze debuff to all enemies for 2 turns. Then, whenever you use her LD ability, it now becomes a 5-hit AoE Dark Magic Brave plus an AoE HP attack dealt twice. And it deals 4 HP damage to all targets after each HP attack. Also, when it comes to her Rage overhead, she does get an additional Elemental Weakness damage up by 30%. Now, her bio ability didn't get too much of a change, and the same goes for her other ability as well. So her bio ability becomes a 4-hit Dark Magic Brave plus an HP attack dealt 2 times, with the Brave potency being 48% per hit, and that's about it. And then when it comes to her error ability, the only thing that got changed on it is the fact that her max Brave up that she provided to herself whenever you use her error ability now changes to the Matchless Magic buff and is granted for 6 turns. And it also got an improvement which adds more max Brave up to that Matchless Magic buff. Now, when it comes to her BT, if you do decide to BT plus her BT weapon, what you get out of it is that it now will be able to deal 2 HP dumps, but it's still single target, sadly, whenever you use her BT attack. At 1 out of 3, you get an increase in the amount of turns during burst mode. At 2 out of 3, she actually gets an extension to her BT effect by 1 turn, so now it's going to be 6 turns instead of 5. Also, she is finally able to enchant the party with Dark Enchant, and she does add party Brave damage cap up by 30%, or you'll be able to deal up to 14,998 in Brave damage, so long as you have that the BT effect active and you have 2 out of 3 or fully realized her BT weapon. Okay, so now my good friend Kaiden, who is like I mentioned earlier in the video, he is back once again because you already know how he works. He does his professional tactics, and it might actually come to JP soon, but we'll see. Yeah, he's back again to let you guys know on the pros and cons on Shantotto and Machina. So welcome back, my friend. It's good to have you.
Don't tell anybody that I'm going to be going to JP. Then people will expect me to do JP videos. But it's good to be back. Always good to talk about my favorites. And we have an absolute favorite. We have Shantotto today that we're definitely going to be discussing about. And then on top of that, we'll be touching upon Machina shortly later. But first, we're definitely going to be talking about the Black Mage devil herself. You can definitely say that she's definitely been mean to everybody. Shantotto. So first and foremost, Shantotto did get minor reworks to her skills. The first one is definitely putting her max Brave with her buff of Peerless Magic, or one of her buffs, so that way she definitely starts off with her max Brave, which helps her out. And this is going to be for Elemental Arrow or Rage Arrow, Skill 2, which is going to be the bio. It'll be Elemental Bio or Rage Bio. When you're in Rage Bio mode for this one, it will deal 2 HP dumps, so that's actually still going to be very nice for her. The LD effect is going to be getting the 100% AoE damage across the board, but the HP damage will be dealt twice. So you have 2 100% AoE hits coming from Shantotto on her LD. On top of that, she got an additional LD use. So she goes from 3 stacks to 4 stacks with the LD usage there. That the debuff is still 100% defense down, guys. I say this in all my videos, or like in general. Defense down is a massive thing, and she has 100% all in one. It may last 1 turn, but if you can delay an enemy to death, that 1 turn lasts forever. Let's see. Her EX is still the exact same way. 100% AoE damage across the board. She still imperils all magic in the game, so she still is going to be very helpful in a team comp to imperil magic damage dealers. So if you have like magic damage dealers who don't have framed imperils, taking Shantotto along with them will pretty much make sure that they're always going to hit weakness regardless of whatever elements that you're going to be using. But the major thing that we all come here for is the BT effect. Shantotto's BT effect is going to be definitely more beneficial this time around. For the party members who are non-elemental, she is able to enchant darkness on the team. We won't talk about Zonde, but we'll definitely talk about the fact that she enables darkness for the team here. She also increases brave damage for the team as well. And on top of that, she has an even better, she definitely comes with more brave damage overflow for this. Not brave gain, it's brave damage overflow for the team. She also enables everybody to hit weakness damage, so you'll be dealing even more weakness damage on top of her BT effect. You're still, not you're still what? I don't know why I'm thinking you're 14. With Shantotto, she is very, very self-sufficient. She has the ability to hit her. To hit her damage caps, just because of the fact that she is able to imperil her own elements, and on top of that, she has a whopping 140% defense down. So she is really, really able to hit really hard with Rage Arrow, Rage Bio, and the LD. However, when you are looking at Shantotto does still need help. The quickest way to help Shantotto is to definitely help increase brave damage for the team. Any debuffs or buffs for the team that she's going to be working with. Brave damage increase on the enemy would be easy one to fill in. Would be Jack. Let's see here. Jack, Sephiroth, Beatrix is one. So those 3 will be like the top that I can definitely think about for the most part. Jack's debuff is definitely going to be defense down on top of a brave damage increase by 30%. You also have Sephiroth, which is 30%, and that one lasts 8 turns. And then you have Beatrix. It lasts 2 turns if you use her first call, and the second call is going to be 4, so you do have 6 turns of that. When it does come down to it, Shantotto is very, very elemental friendly, but when you're definitely going to be using her, you definitely want to be able to bring the best out of her. So if you can definitely have her at max brave before she starts her turn, she can really deal damage overall. Putting her next to brave battery units, or units who can definitely hand her bravery, will definitely be like the greatest way to go with her. But you still definitely want to make sure that if you're going to be bringing her, it is not a question. To bring the most out of her, you definitely want to blue her armor if you're going to be going that route with her. But she can be very, very damage focused when you're actually in a team comp with her. I would definitely say weaknesses for her. She doesn't have a lot of HP dumps in comparison to the other unit that we're going to be talking about, which would be Machina. But she still has 3 HP dumps in skill 1, and if you have a unit that's able to batter her before she uses Rage Arrow, she can actually hit very, very hard. I myself have managed to get like a 600k hit with her, so she can definitely hit for 600k if you're looking at like very, very fast damage. But she was also next to Iroha, who gives brave discount. So ideally, if you're going to be running with Shantotto, I would definitely say keep that in mind if you're going to be using her. She's definitely battery reliant. So you definitely want to run battery with her. Battery and brave damage increase on the enemy, either debuffs or auras from the party members.
ここだ決めるぞみんな力を貸してくれもらった
Now we'll talk about Machina with the rework that he's going to be getting. Now, Machina's rework is a little bit better than one Shantotto is getting, because with his rework, he gets a lot of additional things, especially to his LD ability. So his LD ability now makes it so that the debuff that he inflicts onto the enemies gets extended to 6 turns, which is a good thing, because like especially for enemies who like to act a good amount, like having an extension to that debuff is really good. Also, whenever you are using the additional attack because of that debuff that is inflicted, and after they act, whenever you act, you get an increase in Brave based on 70% of his attack. Now, for the buff that he provides to himself, previously that buff really didn't provide too much, but now they gave him a whole bunch of stuff into that one buff from his LD ability. So the improvements to the piercing power is that he now gets max Brave up by 20%, HP damage up 20%, Brave gains up, which you guys already know how very important that is against reductions and whatnot from the enemies. Brave gains up by 30%. Brave damage up 40%, and whenever he is breaking or attacking a broken target, he gets an additional Brave damage up. So now it'll be a total of 80% instead of the 40%. Also, he gets an improvement to the debuff that gets inflicted onto the enemies. After an enemy afflicted with this debuff acts, it does trigger the additional attack from the Spiral's linchpin. His Cyclone Drive ability got additional uses. It does inflict break to the target now. It increases Brave by 100% of his attack, and it becomes a 3-hit melee Brave plus an HP attack 2 times. He now deals 20% splash HP damage to non-targets and increases Brave gain to 30% of the HP damage dealt. Now, when it comes to his Awakening ability also got additional uses, and he increases his Brave by 100% of his attack whenever you use his Awakening ability, and it becomes a 4-hit melee Brave plus an HP attack. Now, whenever he is breaking or attacking a broken target, he does get that instant turn rate. He doesn't increase the turn count, but he does decrease if being used as a friend support, during burst, and summon turn count. Now, after you use his Awakening ability and you have that buff active, his HP attack turns into Furious Blades or Furious Blades Plus. Now, the Furious Blades, he increases his Brave by 70% of his attack, and it becomes a 2-hit melee Brave plus an HP attack 2 times. And whenever he is breaking or attacking a broken target, he does get that instant turn rate. Now, the Plus version makes it so that he does increase Brave by 20% of the HP damage dealt after the first attack. His regular version does not have that. It also increases the recast gauge by 20%, and it also extends the active buff duration by 1. Machina's BT weapon, really we're just going to be focusing on the BT effect. So the BT effect provides the party with HP damage up, max Brave damage cap up, and stolen/gain max Brave overflow up. And it does change his HP attack to Furious Blades Burst, which we'll get into here in just a second, as long as you have the Awakening buff active. Now, it is a stackable BT effect, and to increase this BT effect, you basically just have to let Machina land an attack onto the enemies, and it does have a max stacks of 3. So in total, if you reach those max stacks, you get a 30% HP damage up, a 30% max Brave cap up, and a 30% stolen/gain max Brave overflow up. Now, if you do decide you want to fully realize this BT weapon, whenever you throw a book at it, you get an increase in Brave potency of 200% per Brave hit, and at 1 out of 3 you get an additional turn during the burst mode, and then at 2 out of 3 he does add more stolen and gained max Brave overflow. So instead of like let's say he is at 3 stacks, instead of the 30%, he will be at 45% for that stolen and gained max Brave overflow. And of course, if you do fully realize this BT weapon, you do get an additional burst effect out of him. Now, Furious Blades Burst, As long as you have his BT effect active and the awakening buff active, it now becomes a 2-hit melee brave plus an HP attack 7 times. With a brave potency of 50% per hit, it does allow for 120% stolen max brave overflow. It does extend active buffs by 1 turn, and it does have low turn rate. Now, if you do BT plus his BT weapon, which, you know, I'm gonna assume that a lot of players will, at 2 out of 3, you do get an increase in brave by 100% of his attack, a brave potency of 60% instead of 50% per hit, and an increase in brave by 20% of the total HP damage dealt after each HP attack except for the last.
So next we have Machina on the table. Machina did get also he got like minor reworks to his kit as well. For his skill 1, that stuff is still going to be the exact same way, but you do have more brave. Hits on that. His skill 2 automatically breaks the target, so that actually makes it very, very nice. They have to have brave in order to break a target though, so he isn't going to be like an unbreaker and rebreaker. He just breaks whatever brave is there. So him being next to Vayne or him working next to Noel will be actually kind of funny. For the most part anyway. He also did get an additional HP dump on it, so that you do have 2 HP dumps.
Yep.
And on top of that, it does have splash. There's a 20% splash, so there is that. When you're looking at his LD definitely got a lot of goodies there. He has brave gains up, he has brave damage increase, HP damage up. So he does have a lot going on with his new buff for his LD effect. His debuff, however, did get extended by a lot. And definitely know that it was short term. Well, it wasn't short term. It was decent beforehand, but now it's got a lot more. It has a lot more turn spacing on his debuff. And on top of that, I know that again we're going to be touching on the thing that's important here. A lot of people have been thinking about definitely going after Machina's BT plus and his BT in general. Where Shantotto excels at brave damage increase, Machina is definitely going to be HP damage oriented.
Yep.
He has the HP damage increase and he has HP cap up, but he also has brave damage overflow, so you'll be able to hit higher caps with him. However, when it is talking about his BT effect is a ramp up effect. So it will start off at 1 and you gotta go to 3. Once you are at 3, you will get the maximum value of each one of his HP attacks. He also gets an additional change from his HP command, where it's Furious Blades, whether it'll be just regular Furious Blade or Furious Blade Plus, that does have 2 HP attached to it, but the BT effect changes his Furious Blades to Furious Blades Burst, I think?
Yes.
I'm trying to think of the name, but that is the name. And it will do a lot of HP attacks. This is the thing that a lot of people have been talking about. This guy who's able to hit really hard, really fast with that HP attack. However, he delays himself. So for great power, he definitely can't be used like that. It won't be back-to-back hits. So they try their best to compensate for him. When I look at Machina and when I think about Machina, he definitely needs to be next to a unit who can definitely help out with brave gains up, because he does get brave gains in his LD buff, but with that being the case, he definitely needs help with it. So any units that can do brave gain up for him would be very, very beneficial. Right off the bat, I can definitely think about him and Machina and Bart's working extremely well together. On top of that, at the end of Machina's HP command, Bart's effect would brave gain or brave battery him back up based on the HP damage dealt, so there is that. Bart also has brave gains up in his BT effect as well, so if you can have those two working together, they'll be actually really nice. Machina does delay himself, and Bart's is kind of slow, so they do work together in this situation. Another good unit that you can stick him next to is definitely going to be Ornn. Those two deal a lot of off-turn damage together, so if Ornn gets hit, Machina will respond and counter, and Ornn will respond and counter, so there is that. Definitely can think of another BT unit that you want to stick him next to is going to be Y'shtola. Y'shtola will definitely have brave gains up in her kit, and on top of that, it's very easy for Machina to meet the initial brave requirement for that. So you'll never be below initial brave with her and him working together. As far as another unit I can definitely think about would probably be Agrius. just because of the fact that Agrius's auras are really, really strong. And on top of that, the debuff that she has, it enables HP damage increase. Like HP damage increase is going to be a massive like boon to him in this situation. And on top of that, she has a confusion and a brave damage increase as long as the debuff is applied to a target. I'm definitely thinking like Porum, but I mean Porum works well with anybody at this point. Definitely can put him next to Setzer, another unit that definitely helped him hit his cap because of the fact that he is going to be able to hit a lot. Setzer and those two were Setzer and Machina working together. If you ever wanted something to be dead, those two are the way to go. Ideally, Machina needs help just as much as Shantotto does, but they need help in two different forms. Shantotto has the ability to cripple a boss defense, where the Lufenia plus reduction of Brave gains hurt Machina. So ideally, you want to be able to counter that for the both of them. And where Shantotto needs Brave damage increase on the enemy through debuffs, Machina needs Brave gains up from the party members himself. So ideally, those two kind of work hand in hand. But they have a lot of variety. They have a lot of space to them. Machina also slows down the enemy with his LD debuff that lowers speed. But anybody who gets hit in the party, you can expect a counterattack from him going forward. So Machina definitely has ways to help the team and keep the enemy Brave down to either broken or zero. He has a lot of Brave shaving in his kit. That dude is ridiculous. But definitely can speak good things on both sides.
So now we get to the point of the video where we let you guys know who we are considering BT plusing now that you have heard our, I guess, like overview of these two characters. So I think you went first last time, so I'm gonna go first this time. So I think, okay, so I have no problem with BT plusing either of the two, in my opinion, because I see Shantotto as even though a lot of people are gonna avoid her, and there's probably gonna be a few handful of people who are gonna BT plus her, but Shantotto, for me, and how she operates with that BT effect, she leans more for me as a utility type of character, just because like that BT effect, having that strong increase in elemental weakness damage up and being able to enchant the party finally is a very nice plus in her kit. But seeing as how I am pretty satisfied with my utility characters that I have that are LD units only, I think I'm probably gonna pass up on her. But of course, just like me and everybody, well, I can't say everybody, but like for a lot of players, I know a lot of players are waiting for Machina. I've been seeing many comments in a lot of my previous videos saying that, oh, I'm waiting for Machina this, Machina that, because of the obvious thing, that lovely Furious Blade burst attack once you have his BT effect active. I mean, being able to deal some strong damage out of that attack is very nice, and I've seen many players take advantage since if you do BT plus and take advantage of his Furious Blades burst and take him into the BT phase with him, and the damage output, woo, very nice. But you know, and you can actually do some pretty interesting comms. Like if you have the right call abilities, like say you give him Sid Reigns, you give somebody else the Keys call ability, and you give somebody else a Kate Sif call ability. Yes, best believe Machina is about to deal some damage. So for me this time, even though I have actually not greened a character since Jekt, if I'm not mistaken, just because I've been trying to get the most out of Jekt. If you've been watching my my Lufenia Plus runs, but I think it's time to either put Jet to the side or actually put him next to Machina, because I am 100% going to be BT plusing Machina with his upcoming BT banner.
Oof. All right. So I'll give mine. Before I get called a fake fan, allow me to sit here and say this. When it comes down to Shantotto, I am a massive fan of her. I've used her multiple times in the past. If you guys have seen my videos from before, I've had Shantotto in the group destroying things. And I mean, I absolutely had a blast with using her in the Equinox events that we got as the global exclusive.
Oh, right. Yeah, I remember that.
She just she just crushed it. I remember right as soon as I got into the fight, I was hitting ones, and as the fight progressed, I went from hitting ones to hitting cat brave damage, and it was all thanks to that little bitty potato. But when I think about Shantotto and I think about Machina, I'm I really, really, really want Machina only because of one reason and one reason only. It isn't because of his damage. It's because of his music. the White Tigerless theme music.
It is a pretty good thing.
It just hits just right
really
for me.
Is. Yeah, I agree. I'd have to agree with that.
and it's like I've never been in a situation before where I want to green a unit just because of the fact that I just want their music.
Look, there's no judgment here, remember, because like I BT plus what was it? Caius and JP because of his animation. So no judgment here.
Bahamuto.
Exactly.
but when I really, really think about it, like if I'm looking at it from a veteran's case, and I am a veteran here, and if I'm looking at it from something that I definitely know that's going to be unique, I would definitely say for me, hands down, I would do Shantotto in a heartbeat. Just because of the fact that she enables the other party members to hit really hard, and her own personal damage can be definitely increased. With the team comps that I run, or the team comps that I have in mind, I'm a firm believer in debuff supremacy, and she enables defense down hard. It's all in one debuff. The 100% defense down that she has in her LD debuff, and on top of that, the other debuffs that she has with the Maker's Mark, or I believe it's Curse Gaze. Yeah, it's Curse Gaze. Yeah. So I'm like, she does have a lot there, and then on top of that, she enables every element in the game. So she can work with other elemental damage dealers. She offers a lot as far as like elemental coverage and those who you can definitely put her with, but her own damage is going to be something that is going to be lacking if you do not bring the correct party members to work with her. The exact same way Machina is able to hit really hard with his HP command, but with that being the case, Machina also suffers because of the fact that he also needs party members to really be able to bring the best out of him too. They're both heavy damage dealers with the right team comps. But for me, if I definitely were to pick one, if I can't get Machina's BT, which I'm going to get it, I definitely know for a fact if I was being smart, I would definitely go with Shantotto because of how much he offers.
Yeah.
But I'm going with novelty here, and I'm going for music. It's kind of weird, but I have a lot of people who can cover a lot of different things in my team constant and in my builds, and I just want very, very good music as I'm beating something to death, and Machina's for it. So for me, I will definitely go with Machina, not because I want to deal a million damage, but because I want to listen to the White Tiger with the music while it's going on in the background.
You say that, but once you experience that, you're gonna be like, ooh, music and damage? Yes.
No, and before people sit here and say anything, and I know that this is going to be said, if you wait for Machina C90, that is definitely going to be okay. I believe Shantotto does not have her C90 in JP just yet, so I'm fairly certain there's going to be like room to work around with her later. But right now, when I'm thinking about it, you pull for now, and I definitely think that both of these units have the ability to enable, if you don't have defense down, Shantotto, even though it is one turn, she can definitely bring a lot to the table. If you're going to be looking at something that's brand new and you want to get something that's new, Machina is that brand new DPS toy that can easily take care of problems. But again, it definitely it's not just him doing it, it's the other two party members that allow him to do what he does.
Yeah.
Because with the HP command, I know that this is going to be said a lot, but he delays himself, and that BT effect is ramp up. Keep that in mind. But those two, we got some very interesting units, and I definitely like them both. Me personally, I like them both, and I'm trying my best to not be biased.
So, but yeah, guys, with that being said, though, do let us know down in the comment section below who you're going to be pulling for, whether it be for the epic music Machina or the potato Shantotto. Let us know down in the comment section below.
I should have never said it.
That's okay. Somebody else would have said it at some point. Somebody else would have said it at that point, so that's all good.
That's so sad that I'm gonna agree to unit because I like their music. But I'm like, oh, that it just hits right. It just feels right.
All right, but anyways, with that being said, if you guys do enjoy the video, consider liking the video and subscribing for future Upper Omnia content. Make sure to check out Kaiden's channel. I think he's getting closer and closer to 300 subs, no?
Getting closer and closer. I just need to make sure that first things first. I know that we're going into a new year, so I'm like, thank you guys for hanging out with me, and I thank you, Lost, for having me. It does mean a lot. Christmas holidays,
anytime.
Everybody is coming back from the Christmas tree cakes, or like, wait, no, not that, but
no, I mean that too. No, holidays. Believe me, that too. That's believe. I know that.
I'm like, because there is Christmas cake, and for those who don't know what that is, avoid it. Avoid Christmas cake.
Avoid the bad thing in the Christmas cake. Anyways, you can Google it, and y'all know what we're talking about.
But that's all I got. So take care, guys.
All right, we'll catch you guys in the next.